So what I'm hearing is that fentanyl is being used to medicate some underlying pain.
Yeah, and
that has gotten worse among people.
We've seen that throughout other epidemics as well. A lot of this it's a little bit of a chicken and egg. You have people sometimes who are experimenting with drugs, they get hooked, and then they find themselves homeless, for example. You also find people struggling with money problems and turmoil at home and a pandemic, and they're homeless and they're using this to numb the pain. But what people have, and I sought out people who suffer from what's called opioid use disorder. I spoke with them one-on-one. What is it about this that is so addictive? I talked with the expert, Dr. Caleb Bantagreen at the UW. Spoke to him when I was doing the series of stories on prescription pain pill addiction. He says this is so much worse than heroin, even in a way, because of the great highs and the great lows and the need for someone who's addicted to repeatedly take this medication. They're using it for medication so that they don't go into horrific withdrawals. There's so many layers to this.
I think the question, we ask time and time again is what do they need to get themselves out of this personal crisis and this societal crisis? Because everybody I've talked to who is hooked on drugs, they don't want to do fentanyl.
Yeah, and we do a deep dive. I talk to people getting treatment, a woman in a methadone clinic, as well as her doctors. I also talked with experts who say, there are lower level clinics we could set up with buprenorphine, which all you do is write a prescription and you can have some medicine right away. They want to see those on every quarter. But I also spoke to guys using drugs on the streets who completely, whether they're in denial or not, they say, look, I'm using fentanyl by choice. I like it. I've had no problems with it. So you have to also consider a law enforcement component to this as well.
Sure. And so you've got to go ahead, Dave.
I was just going to say, I know there's at least a few people who say, how is this different than just, people who de-stress by sipping a cocktail?
It's far more lethal. We talked to the DEA, Drug Enforcement Administration, and they tell me right now 6 out of every 10 pills that you get on the street has the potential to kill you. These aren't pain pills being manufactured in the U.S. under tight restrictions. This is stuff coming in.
So suppose there was a version that didn't kill you. Should we make that available and just...
That is available in hospitals. It's tightly controlled, but it is
But you can't get it.
It is it's dangerous. It is very potent. It's incredibly potent, and that's why there are tight controls on this.
So this is a multi-part series.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to play each part at the same time every morning, so our listeners can depend on it. What's tomorrow?
Tomorrow we are talking babies and children.
Oh, man.
And I was surprised to see how much more they're being affected by this epidemic than perhaps any other epidemic we've seen, from cocaine to heroin to prescription pain pills. Babies who are exposed in the womb, toddlers, we'll talk about that. We interviewed the emergency department doctor at Children's Hospital, as well as talked to some young parents who are going through their own treatment right now and trying to stay clean for their kids.
Heather Bosch. Thank you, Heather.